Okay, guys, what I want to do now is I want to introduce you to my Line 1 kit. Now, it's an actual product that I'm going to be selling. It's a small kit that you can utilize to guarantee that you can take care of your basic needs at any time, whether you're hiking, hunting, um, you know, in a tactical environment, whatever the case may be. This is a collection of gear that I've found myself carrying no matter what. Um, And so our line one gear, as we know, is there to help us provide for our basic needs. Essentially, we want to do core temperature control and hydration. We want to avoid becoming hypo or hyperthermic, and we also want to be able to stay hydrated. So, as part of my training, developing better and better ways of carrying those line one items on my person has always been an interesting challenge. I learned the 10 C's system at the Pathfinder School, and I think it's a great system. I think it works very well. And the 10 C's are 10 categories of items that, combined with the skills to use those items, you can pretty much guarantee your survival for quite a while. Definitely more than 24 hours, you know. And so I've always been looking for ways to kind of take the knowledge and experience I gained at that school and kind of integrate it into my own way of doing things, especially with the environment that I have to work with. And part of that, one of the most interesting parts of the challenge there is finding ways to make sure that I actually have those items on my person, not in a backpack or in a vehicle or somewhere else, where if I become separated from those uh, backpacks or vehicles or whatever, I'm now separated from my items. The way I've always kind of thought about it is, you know, let's say you're in a canoe and your canoe tips over and you swim to shore and all your other stuff goes floating away downstream. The stuff you have on you that you swam to shore with is what you've got. Um, and so having the knowledge and skills and some basic equipment on you is a great thing to do. That's one of the reasons why um, with the bush hunter knife, I always wanted to design a sheath to guarantee that the knife stays on your belt. This sheath is not designed to be mounted on MOLLE. It's not designed to be stuck on the side of a pack or anywhere else or inside of a pack. This is a belt knife and it stays on your belt. That way it is always on you. And so as this kind of system has developed, of course, the knife has been modified and improved. The sheath itself, now I'm on the kind of the second version of the sheath where instead of just storing cordage on the outside, I've now integrated a Cordura pouch where you can mount a MOLLE pouch on the front. And that's what I have here. This is a compass pouch from Bongo Gear. It's a nice little pouch, has a lot of room actually for its size. And with appropriate skills, you don't need a lot of gear. And so with something like this, I can give this to somebody that's properly trained. They'll probably live out here for a week just off this. And so what I kind of want to detail is what I've put in here, and my new Line 1 kit has become a core of that. So the Line 1 kit is a product I've been developing, and it's a take on the old school kind of Altoids tin survival kit, but instead I've sourced items. Instead of just trying to pack as many items in there as possible, I've sourced items that I know and have personally tested and trust, and it's the same items I carry myself. And I was able to basically purchase them in bulk and assemble these kits. Okay, so the kit itself is your basic Altoid style tin. Then I laser engrave the cover, kind of give it a cool look. All right, because it's a tin, it's not waterproof, and so I wrap the edge with electrical tape, just like so. Zoom out a little here. There we go. So the first thing to access the kit, and this thing it's really made to be used in an emergency. It's not made to be gotten in and out of like daily, unless you're in an emergency. After we remove the electrical tape, we're going to go ahead and remove this Ranger band and retain it. And that's going to get us into the contents of the kit itself. So in the kit itself, you're going to get, of course, the tin and the Ranger band. Then inside of here, it comes with 4 chlorine dioxide tablets. These are the exact same ones I use all the time. going to come with 3 tinder quick tabs. Now usually if I have good tinder and kindling, a half of one of these will start a fire easily. It's going to come with a nice sized piece of fat wood, which can be shaved and carved down and split for more tinder. It's going to come with a small ferro rod. These ferro rods work really good. You can see I've been practicing with mine. Actually tempted to go back to the company and buy some of their larger ones because I'm actually really impressed with how good this little one works. Comes with 18 inches of vinyl tubing. What the heck is this for? This can be used for a multitude of things. You can reach down into small crevices to suck water up. You can drink water from a container with it, but you can also use, my favorite use is to actually blow through it when you're trying to get a fire going, especially at high altitude and in the cold. And that's what this kit's been meant for, is cold weather use, cold, wet weather. You know, fat wood and tinder quick tabs and ferro rod are awesome cold weather, wet weather options. You notice I'm not relying on any fuel containing lighters, nothing battery powered, just a good old ferro rod, fat wood, and these tinder quick tabs. And all these can be soaked in water and they'll work just fine. So they're a very reliable source, especially in the cold, when you're cold and wet. And the last item in here is one of these high temperature water bags from Wazoo Survival. And this is a special kind of plastic or a special kind of material that's rated up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can actually boil water next to a fire in this bag. Now it's a 1 liter size, which is the same size you would use one of these chlorine dioxide tabs for. So it's very easy just to fill this with water, drop a tablet in, wait a half hour, and you've now got water. And rather than try to hold a bag up to your mouth and drink out of it, we've included a straw. So basically you now have a Camelback homemade version. Okay. So this kit, well, it doesn't seem like much, actually does a lot for you. And if you're backing it up with appropriate skills and layering other equipment and gear, like for instance, inside this pouch on the front of my knife, I also have a small Mylar blanket. So now I have basic shelter covered, okay? And the tin doesn't come completely packed full. There's still enough room in it so that you can kind of customize this for your needs. Good examples would be like a mini Bic. Here I've got one with about 30 feet of Dyneema, 130-pound test cordage on there. That fits in there. Here I've got one of my solar compass patches. Granted, this doesn't have the Velcro on the back. It's just the front. I did that just to make it thinner so it would fit in here easier. And then I've just kind of stitched a sail needle onto there, so I can both utilize it as a solar compass, but also to repair equipment with this cordage. You know, and that, and combined with the knife and ferro rod that's already on this sheath, I have a very redundant and robust amount of equipment right there. So you can see very quickly, just with the equipment that was on this knife sheath, you know, both in my Line 1 kit, this Mylar space blanket, and the knife itself, I'm actually pretty well prepared here. I mean, you're not going to be super comfortable, but you're not going to die either. And that's kind of the important part, I think. And then, of course, when you combine that with the other gear that I'm carrying in my other pockets, you quickly have a very robust system that you can actually do a lot with. And with some appropriate training, you'll find that you don't need a whole lot of gear to have your bases covered. You can go out, you can venture further more confidently, knowing that if something comes up, I don't need to bring everything in the kitchen sink with me. I'm covered. Am I going to be the most comfortable? No. Am I going to have to do some work to make sure I have a decent shelter that night? Sure, I am. I might have to gather up some browse material or build a debris hut or something if I really want to be comfortable. But I've got the equipment here that, at least, like I said, I'm not going to die. And that's kind of the point. But, anyways, that's my Line 1 kit. You can get them on my store. Thanks for watching.